Welcome back to another edition of Down and Back at CornDoug. As you can see, we have right now the man, the myth, the legend of Oktane Cornhole, Mr. Mike Ferreira. Mike, how you doing?
Very good. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. We were just kind of talking off air here how, like I started things off with back on that KCC show before that first national, picking you and Hasib, and now all of a sudden it's become the in thing to do is to pick you guys for a national.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Kind of started this season, no one really knowing who we were, but I'm glad that we were able to make a splash this season. We're currently ninth right now overall in doubles, so that's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, because like you said, you kind of went from virtual anonymity to all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're here and we're going to take over.
Yeah, it's been fun. I know Hasib's been doing really well in the seniors division. I know before we talked, we were saying earlier how it's been even before the first national, and since then, Hasib has gone on. He's won one of the pro senior nationals. He's been doing well, obviously in doubles as well. It really both of us have been kind of trying to get into the spotlight a little.
Well, and you say that you do well together, and then you've done well singly. That even that first national, I think it was, you even went on a run with Matthew Stout in the blind draw.
Yep, that was the first time Stout and I think, ever played with or against each other. Actually, no, we played each other one other time in Myrtle Beach. But he's such an awesome dude, great thrower. I was impressed. He picked up those bags for the first time, and it looked like he threw him his whole tournament. So that was pretty awesome to see. We ran into a tough team. It was Mike Harvey and Dylan Turpin, actually, who knocked us out. They were our only loss both times, actually.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, that first national, you had just that whole weekend. You were just on fire. So it was for us, it was like we were able to finally have someone on that Oktane team to really kind of take hold of the reins and get going.
Yeah, it's definitely been nice. I know I was on the team last year. Didn't do too bad, but I definitely want to improve when I moved down to Florida, and kind of had to in the process. So,
well, yeah, and it's that whole Florida area, because even watching like the first national down there, and then they had that open where you got Jamie Graham's down there, but then he gets taken out by Alex Rawls in the final. There's just so many great players that are down in Florida.
yeah, pro or non-pro, it doesn't matter down here. There are so many great players. You got the Rule Brothers. They're down in the West Palm Beach area. They ended up winning our conference last month, I believe it was. You got obviously the Rawl brothers, all of them, Garrett, Allen, Alex, all great players. Cody Johnson, another great player from Tampa. There's just so many great players, really, that no matter what tournament you go to, you have to be on the top of your game or you're going to lose. That's just how it is.
Well, yeah, it's not like when you came up here to play where we're all still kind of new and you were able to almost take over everybody here. But yeah, well, with Steve, speaking of like opens and nationals, what has been your kind of not sure what the right word to use, but just your thought on them so far? Just first time being in an open where it's kind of everybody playing rounders, then you split off, and then even this new national where the with the stacked brackets.
So, in terms of opens, I, in a way, find them more difficult because since everyone is there, you never know who you're going to get. It's more of randomness, where with the nationals, you know which 256 people are going to be there, and you can kind of look at the rankings and have a decent idea where you're going to be playing. Whereas an open, that round robin determines everything. Obviously, it determines your tiers, but anyone can make any tier list, so you truly have no time to plan until it's time to play.
Mm-hmm. So, and it's like, and I talked with Trey, and I've talked to a couple other people about this. Is the opens? Everyone thought, oh, it's just the pros are going to come in and just take over the opens and beat all the new people, like all the non-pros. But that hasn't been the case, other than, that, like I call him the super rookie, Matt Guy, winning a couple in the singles. You've had guys like Steve Bernasette, first-time pro, nobody really knew about him. Then you got Alex Rawls winning one, Berkeley Pierre out of North Carolina winning another one. So it's, it's a lot of, yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of new people that are coming out and just showing that, they're knocking on the door to get there.
Yeah. And I think that also shows that there are so many great players out there that just because someone isn't classified as a pro doesn't mean that they're not to the caliber or level of pros in general. So there's so many great players out there.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of great players, you were in Vegas this past weekend to play. So how would you rate yourself that tournament? Because a lot went down that tournament.
Vegas doubles. We started off hot. We beat John Fuentes, Jay Corley, and Leslie MacGyver, Derek Fatiguer. I think that's how you say his last name. Then we kind of lost our steam and lost to two really great teams in Tom Gustafson. If I said his name wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Stephen Bernasette. And then we just ran into a red hot Ashton Spees and Jacob Beamer, who have also burst onto the scene this year as a team. So,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, so overall, we ended up in 5th or 6th place, which isn't that bad for doubles out of 120 top end teams. Singles, I wish I did better. It was my worst one, but I was still able to squeak into the top 60-ish, around there. So I know some people will say, "Oh, that's not bad," but you always want to strive to be better. So,
well, exactly, and so I think I can kind of say I'm still in shock of some of the events that went on Saturday night. Were you around? Were you around for any of that, or were you off kind of doing the other stuff?
I'm not gonna lie, I was probably gambling at that time. When in Vegas, you gotta play a little.
Yeah.
I do have some ideas of what happened on Saturday. I watched a few of the videos, so there was a lot in terms of the Damon Dennis Matt Guy match. That was crazy, them going back and forth, and then you got Matt and Jamie taking it down in doubles. But there was so much going on at that time.
Yeah.
And Trey Birchfield, obviously, taking down doubles.
Like that. It started off the Saturday with the Matt Guy, Damon Dennis, how they went back and forth, just lights out, and all of a sudden that last end where it took, who would have thought 3 misses, the last 3 bags off the board, would end it for that game, right? Just that the clean and a clean board. All they had to do was just slide it in for either the win or the wash.
Yeah, and that just goes to show for people who are learning the game that even those guys will miss the board. I think it also showed kind of a good message. May have not been great for Matt because obviously we know that Damon came back and won the game, but with such a high caliber player that he is, everyone is going to make a mistake. So you can't beat yourself up on it. I won't be surprised. And you notice Matt didn't. He won doubles right after. He was amazing.
Well, and then you go from that, like that one match that knocked Trey and Cody off the broadcast for the ESPN3. But then you go to that other Trey and Birchfield Cody Henderson match, and Cody was being Cody with his his talking and everything else, which fired Trey up. And we actually heard Trey speak during a game, which is another like, what's going on here kind of moment.
Yeah, that's that part I didn't get to see. I wish I did because Trey seems to be such a quiet guy. Kind of like a silent assassin when he comes up there. So, but he's just good. He sticks to what he knows and what he likes. He won. I mean, good for him.
Well, and that's the thing because Cody was up like 13-2, and Trey comes back and after getting fired up and then beats Cody, then you get to the doubles final, and again another guy that's quiet for a great player, Matt Guy. You don't hear him talk too much on the board. He then goes back with Adam Hisner with that whole nope thing that last end.
Yep. I wish I was there for that. I'm not too sure what happened towards the end of the tournament. I kind of headed out a little early. But I've seen on Facebook a couple comments saying that there was something that was going on in prior games, but I can't really speak to that much.
Yeah. I think I kind of seen it. There was a little. I think it was more the regular talking that Cody and Adam do during their games and that. But it's I guess you can say it's almost part of the game when you're just playing for fun. Sometimes people wonder if that should really be done when you're on the big stage like that.
Yeah, personally, like when I play a game, I know that a lot of people may not like. I like to talk, and that's just how I play. I don't really mean anything malicious by it or anything, but I don't know how other people take it. So whoever's watching his play me, sorry, but that's just what I do.
Well, yeah, it's I think there's talking, but then there's taking it to that next level, right? And almost like the trash talking and doing it to try and throw your opponent off.
Yeah, I'm not really the greatest trash talker, so I feel like I'd be too nice to him.
Well, you that one time when we did play, you were nice to me, even though you were just kicking my ass like nothing. So, but yeah, so kind of going on from that there. Talk about. I'd heard some rumors that you might be changing up your bag design. Did I hear right about that?
Yeah, Matt was giving me a couple of options for a new and improved bag design. So he sent me some pictures not too long ago, and they're all pretty interesting. So I think the second one he sent me actually was my favorite of all of them. I'm trying to get the picture up here.
Well, I will say right here I do have the new MFer Apex bags.
Yep.
I was able to go and steal that there, and then also the MFer boosted bag here I have as well.
Yep.
So I think
those came out.
I think these are, like I said, I kind of went into Oktane tonight, stole them, brought them here to show you on the show. So I think they are headed your way very, very soon.
Awesome. Can break them in right before Philly and everything, and get them going. Get ready for Florida State Championships, actually.
So when is that coming up then?
That is the end of May, the 28th and 29th, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So that's another thing for us to be able to watch you on, because it's nicer with you being in Florida. Rob Chismark with all of your conference stuff, he puts that online. We're able to see that and be able to follow you along with that.
Yeah, it's Steve and I are still looking for that first one. We've come close in both of the conferences. We got second in the first and then third in the second. We lost to the winners, obviously, in both cases. We lost to the Rules last month, and then we lost to Matt and Noah twice in the first one. But we're definitely on the hunt for that win for the conference. But I really have no complaints of how we've been finishing. Regionals, we've been doing great. Even nationals, we've made the payouts every time. We've made the top 32 pretty much. So that's been awesome. And we've just been throwing really well together.
Well, and even, throwing well together and apart, because it seems like every time I check out Facebook, there's always either a picture of you or him kind of off on your own, getting a win somewhere. You're always getting that picture taken.
Yeah, even when we sometimes we don't get to play together as much because he lives over in Claremont. I'm over in the St. Pete, Tampa area, and we're about an hour to an hour and a half away from each other. So in terms of, I have regionals that are an hour and a half south of me, but for him it's a 3.5, 4 hour drive. So that's kind of tough on him to go play. So but he's always able to pick someone up. I know he played with Sam Finley at a regional, and they won. So and Sam's obviously a great player too. So.
Well, yeah, it just seems like there's, like I've said, like there's your area, there's Cleveland, there's the North Carolina, Virginia area where it's like any kind of almost like a league night at times is like a national or a conference tournament.
Yeah, my the last blind draw I went to, I faced Kyle and another guy named Steve. We call him Boo Boo. His name's Steve Hun, but they're both incredibly great players, and just playing against that caliber on just a random Tuesday picks your game up so much.
Well, yeah, for sure. So you got the Florida State Championship coming up, probably another conference mixed in there. You've also got another Open coming up in Connecticut. So
yes.
Are you looking forward to that?
For sure. It's also the pro shootout. I'm going to be playing with my buddy Chris Tornatola. Call him Tornado. You probably have heard of him.
Yep.
Yep. He runs a Woohole Cornhole up in Massachusetts.
Yeah, so you'll be able to get a chance at seeing a guy who we just had on the show a couple of weeks ago, Jacob Trzynski.
Yes. Yeah. I've talked to Tornado a lot about him. It seems every time I watch some of his live feeds, he's always there. I know the last one I was watching last night, he was in the finals, I believe it was, at the White Eagle. But he seems to be traveling a lot. And from what I hear, he's trying to go pro next season, trying to really get his points up. So that'd be awesome.
Well, yeah, you know what? And talking to him, he's really, sounds like he's really confident on the board, but just that quiet kid that's just, he's just there for business when he plays.
Yeah, that just seems I always say there's two kinds of people in cornhole. There's the people who like to have fun and play, and then there are the people who are so quiet and serious,
Yeah.
I mean, you got a couple scattered along in there, but that just seems to be how the game's going right now. And you can see with everyone putting in their earbuds every single tournament, and they're just always so serious.
Well, yeah, and that's thing. Like, I joke around that, and you've got to play with him here. Is whenever I have a chance to play against Jamie Cowan over at Oktane or anything, it's like I got to put something in because he just talks about nonsense all the time. You have no idea what's going to come out of his mouth.
I was going to say, I remember playing against Jamie in the finals at that regional, and we were just having a nice convo the whole game. It was fun.
Yeah, it's you can get the you can call it the sane Jamie or the insane Jamie, where he's just coming up with weird rules, I guess you can almost say. But that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. If someone tries to talk I know a lot of people try to talk with you or say things to distract you, and I'll just go right along with it. I actually enjoy it when people talk. That's why I like doubles more. At least I got Hasib to talk to on the other end.
Oh yeah, and he does like to talk.
Oh yeah. When you get the game going, he'll start talking.
Yeah. So we know you're an Oktane sponsored player.
Yep.
What other sponsors do you have?
I am sponsored by King's Throwing. He gives me a bunch of gear. He throws me a lot of he throws me a lot of like shirts, hats. That was Lydia just trying to like tell me something over there.
She's almost like your road manager. She kind of keeps you in line when you're at tournaments.
But so King's Throne is one, and I am also donating. It's not a sponsor, but it's more so raise awareness. Donating a portion of what I win to the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Tampa. So that's awesome. They have a spot on my jersey as well. So that's pretty awesome as well.
Well, I was going to get into that just because your connection with that there. I don't know if you want to get into just how you kind of come up to be part of that.
I just thought of trying to do something different, help the community. People may know cornhole's not my main profession, and I like to play. I say more so for fun. I love the competition, and the money should come as kind of like a nice additive. So in my mind, I was like, might as well do something good with the money you win. So I went to Ronald McDonald House Charities, and they basically help families that are in need when they have a loved one, such as a child who needs treatments. They'll house them. They give them whatever they need for the time being. So that's why I ended up doing that.
Well, and I know that I've had family that's had to use the Ronald McDonald House up here in Canada, and I know it is a great charity to help out.
Yeah. So I'm definitely glad I was able to partner with them. They've been very nice. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get over there because of COVID. When we originally had our conversations, we were talking about maybe getting a couple boards, go over there and kind of show the kids how to play. But right now they're kind of being a little cautious with that. They don't want to infect or and they want to make sure everyone's healthy. So maybe down the line that will be a possibility.
Well, exactly. And speaking of gear, I was over at Oktane the other night, and something to start off with, that first national that kind of came up, the whole throwing gas, kicking ass stuff. Matt has now taken that on himself. I'm like, that was my thing. But yeah, so now will you be, I guess, be asking after all this, will you be wearing a throwing gas, kicking ass shirt if we can get you one?
I'm totally down. Lydia actually was telling me when he first released them on Facebook, Lydia was like, "Oh, you got to get some of those shirts," and I was like, "Okay." So I'll totally be doing it.
Well, it's kind of started off with you and Hasid, because it was just that whole nobody knows you guys, and it's just you're throwing gas and kicking ass because that's kind of what you guys do.
Yeah, and my favorite part about this whole season is that when the first national came over, I saw a couple posts about people doing fantasy stuff, and they were like, "No discredit to Mike," or people saying maybe it was a fluke or whatever. That pretty much put a chip on my shoulder for the rest of the season. And for me to say that my worst finish is still in the top 60, I think I can say I proved people wrong. So that's pretty much what I want to do this season.
Oh yeah, we talked a lot about that, and that was the one thing that was like, you are like super, almost, it's almost like you're super focused at just going out there and just being the best you can be on the boards.
Yeah, and I'm trying to have fun while doing it. I think that's the most important part, and that's what's kind of forgotten with some people at the Nationals. You see, obviously you want to do well. No one goes there to lose, but you have to realize you got to have fun at the same time. And if you're not, I think that honestly affects your game way more than people lead on to.
Well, exactly. So I want to get, we talked to your sponsors, the sponsors of this show. If you're not going for me, go for him. Head over to OktaneCornhole.com. You can use my discount code CornDoug10, or you can use Mike's discount code, which is
Mike F10.
Mike F10. And then once you're done either using Mike F10 or CornDoug10, head over to myearfund.com. Use CornDoug discount code CornDoug for that. Get yourself 20% off of anything at myearfund.com. Then head to jccornhole.com. As we've said, he's kind of insane. Mention either Mike or myself. You may get a discount. You may not. It just all depends on his mood. And then also, if you're in the Alberta area, actually more or less Edmonton, Alberta, Sherwood Park, check out sierrahome.com. It is down in the description here, and of course going on the bottom. I know that they actually as well do a lot of stuff with the Ronald McDonald House, and I know that Darren with there does great work, and he does a lot of stuff for charity. So with that, any last comments for you, Mike?
No, I just want to thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure talking with you, man. Hopefully we can get the whole team one day to do a nice little chat.
Well, exactly. And you know what? Thank you for coming on. I know this was a last minute thing for you coming on here, but I really want to thank you for helping out the show, and because you've always been great to come on and talk. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So as always, watch out for those guys throwing gas, because, well, I'll say it, Mike will kick your ass.
Might just kick your ass. So.